Hello and welcome to Right Sports Talk. My name is Zach, and it's been a while since I've recorded a college football video, but it is a very big week for college football as it is rivalry week. We have, in addition to some pretty big rivalry games, we have a couple of games that aren't traditional rivalries but have some big stakes on conference standings. Let's get into some of my picks for this rivalry week. So, kicking it off Friday, you have Ole Miss taking on Mississippi State. Ole Miss, who was 10-1 and fighting for a playoff spot, taking on Mississippi State, who was 5-6, and with a victory will become bowl eligible. So, add those stakes on top of it. It's just usually a very heated rivalry in what is known as the Egg Bowl between these two teams. Mississippi State, I know, would love to spoil Ole Miss's playoff chances, because a loss would put them to 2 losses and put them in kind of a tricky situation where there's a bunch of other 2-loss teams that could get put in above them. And for Ole Miss, not only do they have the game to worry about, they have to worry about if their head coach, Lane Kiffin, is going to leave and take another job. So I do expect it to be a very good game. It generally is, as these two teams have a very good hatred for each other. For Ole Miss, their offense has been very good this season. Trinidad, their quarterback, has played tremendous. Their run game has been very good. Their defense has been playing pretty well. Ole Miss is a team that, basically throughout the entire season, you've been wondering, when's the, old Ole Miss going to show up? When is the Ole Miss that we know that, struggles at the back end of the season going to show up? Thought it was going to happen a few weeks ago against Florida. They got down early, made a comeback. Will it happen against Mississippi State? I don't think so. I think Mississippi State will put up a heck of a fight. I think it'll be a very good game, but ultimately, I think Ole Miss gets the victory here in the Egg Bowl. Next up, you have another interstate rivalry as Georgia, who is 10-1, takes on Georgia Tech, who is 9-2. Georgia, another team still fighting for their, playoff position. They're a team that solidified their spot in the SEC, going 7-1 in the conference. This is, Georgia Tech is a non-conference rival, but a very big rival because in-state. Georgia Tech coming off of a loss to Pitt last week to kind of end their ACC championship hopes, but they would love to play spoiler for Georgia. This is a game that last season took 8 overtimes, and Georgia ultimately pulled away. These are two teams that have pretty good offenses. Georgia Tech, Haynes King, their quarterback, has been carrying their team this entire season. For Georgia, it's been kind of more of a balanced offense, and their quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, has played very well. Georgia's defense, although has not been as good as it has been in the past, has still been a very good defense. And Georgia Tech, their defense has been a liability for them. They have struggled. Last week against Pitt was a massive struggle for them. A couple weeks ago against Boston College, their defense gave up points early, and Georgia Tech had to have a big comeback against a not good Boston College team. Another one, I know Georgia Tech's offense can put up points. Georgia can put up points, but I think Georgia gets the victory here because I trust their defense significantly more than I trust Georgia Tech's defense. So give me Georgia to win this game against Georgia Tech. Another in-state rivalry, this time moving on to Texas, as Texas A&M, who is 11-0 right now, and 7-0 in conference, takes on Texas, who is 8-3 and kind of out of it in the playoff race. But they would also love to, just beat their in-state rival. This is a rivalry that renewed last season when Texas moved to the SEC. They were big rivals back in the Big 12. But when Texas A&M left for SEC, that rivalry game took a break until last season. It was a very good game. For Texas A&M, they're another team that you kind of wonder, when are they going to go back to what they're known for in Texas A&M. They're a team that has generally struggled in October or in November. They're a team that has never had all the talent, all the hype, just never been able to get it done. Their quarterback, Marcel Reed, has been playing like a Heisman candidate this season. He's playing tremendous. Their kind of standout game was a couple weeks ago when they got down early. They were down by 20-something points to South Carolina at halftime, and they wound up making a massive comeback. end up winning the game. You thought that was going to be the point where Texas A&M just goes back to being the old Texas A&M of not being able to get it done in November. They overcame it. For Texas, they've had their struggles this season, having 3 losses. Arch Manning has struggled at times, but has also looked very good in some games. It's another game that I think could be a pretty close game, but I think Texas A&M gets it done. I think they have proven that they can finish the job, so I think they get the victory over Texas and end the regular season undefeated. Now, on your final in-state rivalry game for Friday, you have Arizona, who's 8-3, taking on Arizona State, who's also 8-3. And state rivals, bitter rivals. Arizona State has been without Sam Leavitt, their regular starting quarterback, for the past few weeks, although they are on a 3-game win streak. Their last loss coming to Houston. Arizona is on also a bit of a win streak of their own, with their last loss also coming to Houston. I think this could be a very close game as well, as they are rivals. But I think Arizona actually gets the upset and gets the victory over Arizona State, who has been getting victories without their backup quarterback, without their starting quarterback. But I think Arizona, with how good their offenses look so far, gets the victory over Arizona State. Now, moving on to your Saturday games. First up, you have the game, in my opinion, the best rivalry game in all of college football, as Ohio State, who is 11-0, takes on Michigan, who is 9-2. These are 2 teams that absolutely cannot stand each other, and I love this game. This is a game that anything can happen. Michigan has won the last 4 years in a row. Last season, they were 20-point underdogs and were able to out-physical Ohio State and just kind of out-physical their way to a victory. Ohio State this year looks even better, coming off of defending national champions, 11-0. Nobody has really looked all that good against them. Michigan has struggled with their freshman quarterback. Has lost to Oklahoma, has lost to USC a couple weeks ago, almost lost to Northwestern. They have every reason in the world to write off Michigan, but Ohio State. Michigan, especially in recent years, has been a different team when they played Ohio State. They're a team that is going to out-physical you on offense and defense. They're going to get the run game going. I think Michigan gets the victory here. I think they get the upset. I think they make it 5 in a row against Ohio State. I think that Marshall and Underwood, the running back and the quarterback, are going to run all over this Ohio State defense that hasn't really been tested against the run game this season. I think they're going to be able to generate pressure on Jalen Sayers. I think they're going to be able to pressure Sayers, Ohio State's quarterback. I think Julian Sayers, I think they're going to be physical with Jeremiah Smith and Cordell Tate on them as a receiver game. They're going to jam them out wide. They're not going to let them get easy completions. They're going to make Ohio State try to out-physical them, and Ohio State's not going to be able to do that. Give me Michigan to win this football game for the 5th year in a row. Moving on, a non-rivalry game, but a game with some pretty big stakes. You have Miami, who is 9-2, taking on Pitt, who is 8-3. Miami, both their losses have come in conference, so they need this win and a couple other things to happen to stay alive in the ACC playoff or the ACC championship discussion. For Pitt, they only have 1 in-conference loss, so a win here would help get them as well to the ACC championship game. Miami, much like Texas A&M, is a team that has struggled in the month of November. They had stumble a few weeks ago against SMU. Other than that, they've looked pretty good this month. Pitt has been on a roll, with the exception of their game against Notre Dame a few weeks ago. This is a game that can honestly go either way. It's being played in Pittsburgh, so I will give me Pitt to win this game. It's in Pittsburgh. It's cold. It's November. Pitt, I think, can be the more physical team here. I think Miami's going to have a tough time traveling up north in the cold. Give me Pitt to win this game and increase their chances of winning the ACC this year. Moving on from that, you have a West Coast rivalry, as Oregon, who is 10-1, takes on Washington, who is 8-3. Oregon has been very good this season. They're coming off a victory over USC. Washington, it's a bit of a down year. They've got 3 losses. They've struggled this season at times. Another one that I think could be a very good game. But Oregon, I think, is the more talented team. So give me Oregon to beat Washington. Moving on, you have another in-state rivalry as Vanderbilt, who is 9-2, takes on Tennessee, who is 8-3. The battle of the state of Tennessee. Vandy having a very good year, the best year they've had in recent history, looking to get their 10th victory. Diego Pavia in his last regular season game, looking to go out on a high note. As Diego Pavia, as he is somebody that has been the leader of this Vandy team. He's been carrying them. He's their leading passer and their leading rusher. But on the other side of that, for Tennessee, Joey Aguilar has been a very good quarterback in his own right. Both of these teams have very, very good high-powered offenses with not much defense. So, I think this will be a very high-scoring game. You can kind of take defense out of the equation here. It'll be whichever offense can make the most plays. And I trust Diego Pavia and this Vandy offense to get the victory here and get them to double-digit wins for the first time in a very long time for Vandy. Finally, the final game I want to talk about is the Iron Bowl, as Alabama, who is 9-2, fighting for their playoff lives as well, takes on Auburn, who is 5-6. The victory here gets them bowl eligibility. It's in Auburn, at Auburn's home stadium, where Alabama has historically struggled. Had a lot of tough games there. It's another one that could be a very good game. It's a tough environment for Alabama. Everything is riding on this game for their playoff hopes, really their season in general. If I can tell you right now, if they lose, there's going to be fans that are going to be calling for Kalen DeBoer to be fired. But I think Alabama gets the victory. Ty Simpson has been playing very good this season, really with the exception of the Florida State game where they had struggles. And their offense, their team as a whole, has played very good, with the exception of the Oklahoma game, which is their other loss. It was a very close loss. For Auburn, they have a very, very good defense, which I think will be able to slow down Ty Simpson in this Alabama offense, but their offense has struggled for Auburn. So give me Alabama to win the Iron Bowl and help their playoff chances. Let me know in the comments who you guys are think going to win rivalry games. If there's any rivalry games that I didn't talk about that you want to talk about in the comments that you think are big rivalries, let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Until next time. See ya.